I met up at the bar and sort of been together ever since.
Sort of. On and off. I was gone a lot of the time. Doing my drug thing. Using, selling, trying to make an extra buck. It was the lifestyle I knew. So.
And my lifestyle was to take care of not his addiction, but to try and fix him. So I fed off of his dysfunction. The times that he tried to quit, or he'd be clean for a couple, 3 weeks or a month or whatever, I would wig out because I'm like, you know. So
we tried running from it a couple times. Kind of, we got to the point where we wanted to get our relationship better, and we didn't know what to do but run. So we threw a dart like it on a map, you know, and it landed in West Virginia, of all places, clear across, what, 2,300 miles or something like that. Yeah, that lasted for about 5 months. We lived there for 5 months exactly, and I'm like a drug magnet. I found weed up there. You know, I found pot. So I was smoking pot up there. I wasn't working. I was taking care of the kids. Heidi was bringing in the bread and the butter.
And the milk.
And the milk. And, yeah. So that didn't work, so we came back. And right back into...
We moved back into Filer. Got evicted from that place because Jared was spending money, trying to make money by spending it on drugs, but then he was using more than he was selling and not getting good deals, whatever. So we were evicted from there. Stayed in a homeless shelter for a while with the kids because I had too much pride to stay with family because we had family that lived nearby. Then we ended up staying with Jared's parents for a while, his mom and stepdad, and then decided that I was going to go to Pocatello and get a job. There was a job offer there. So I went to Pocatello to interview for it, and that's when I met Melissa. She was my boss, and I stayed there with Jared's grandmother for, oh goodness, a month or so. Yeah, and then he moved there, and we could pacify it for a while, you know, things were okay. We'd go a month or two and be fine, and then Jared would go on a binge, spend money, be out 2-3 nights. Just right back where we were. I mean, and he was my focus. His addiction was my focus. It wasn't the kids. And the kids suffered for that. I mean, it was, you know, I did what I knew how with what I had. But in hindsight, it was a struggle on the kids as well.
We married, and I don't even remember how long we were married, but we got married and then divorced. Because at that point, I didn't know how to commit, because I'd only committed to the lifestyle that I knew. You know, I was doing what I knew best.
Shortly after, before we moved to Pocatello, shortly after Jared and I had gotten together, there was this incident that he was gone. It was evening, and I get this phone call, and there's a female voice on the other line saying, asking for Jeremy, and I said, he's not here, and she goes, I think you're lying to me. I said, no, he's not here, and she says, well, I'm looking in your window right now, and I think you're lying to me. And my heart just stopped. I mean, we lived in an apartment that was on the bottom floor, so when you walked by, you could actually see in the windows. And she said, I'm at your door right now, and I want you to let me in. Well, I go to the door, and I look through the peephole, and there is 2 women standing there, one with a 2x4 and one with a hammer. And So I opened the door, very fearful, because she said if I called the cops, they were going to bust in the window. I mean, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, I was there with the kids. So, very scared. I went ahead and opened the door. And I said, please, you know, my kids are sleeping. Just, if you need to look around, because they were determined to find Jeremy. And she said, Jeremy owes us $100. I'm like, $100. Apparently, a drug deal had gone down earlier that day at our house. And some guy that Jeremy knew made a drug deal there and took off with drugs and didn't pay the girls that were sitting in the parking lot, so they thought it was Jared.
Well, what it was is, let me correct you there. We took the money and we were going to get it, and got it. Decided not to give it. These girls that we took the money from, they know people, and they knew people, and they were out. They had probably an army looking for us.
For $100.
For $100.
I mean, the lady was ready to bash in heads for $100.
Wow.
And did I lose my mic? Oh, okay. I got shot at that night because I was driving this guy around. They knew my car or something, and they started shooting at us. That was an awesome, not an awesome, that was an interesting night.